Who is it?
Especially if they're not expecting it. I know.
How do I make sure he doesn't charge into me?
Is it? Maybe our signal cut out.
Okay, that's perfect. I like it happening. Yes, that's perfect. I just had to move. Yes. Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, thanks. Bye. Get this done. Hold on. You got a Frank coming.
We are, but it's showing green lights right now.
Okay. Come on. It's lovely. We're good? Okay, we're live and there's a big thing happening. You can see everybody's coming out, even Isaac with the giant horns, because anytime a trailer comes up, there is a potential new resident, which is what's happening right now. And if you look, Falco is the most interested, and the new resident is also very interested. So if you remember, excuse me, still have a little bit of a cold, Daisy came to us a while back. She had a traumatic hernia, which had to be surgically repaired. So she's back from Cornell. She has healed. So she healed in another section of the farm. Uh-oh, you better close that because Bellamy takes no prisoners. Everybody's really excited because she's mooing to come out. So now that she's all healed, she's able to join a herd. Because remember, they're herd animals, and herd animals love to be with the herd. So as much as she likes us, she's going to really love them. And she has vision problems, but so does Michelle, who is almost completely blind, and so does Bellamy, who also has visual problems, but also some neurologic problems. So this is kind of the perfect group for her. And she's going to look very tiny, though. So let's let Daisy out. Let's do it. I'll be blocking things if one of us gets hurt. Sorry. What is it? Bellamy? Oh, it's scary. Come on. Come on. Who is this? You better hurry before Bellamy comes. Hurry. That's not fast enough. Come on, Belle. Come on, Daisy. Hurry. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. She's like, oh, there's rain on the floor. Come on. Oh, you're here. Just sweet feet. Just don't trip. Good job. Look who's out here. Cows. Cows to play with. Uh-oh. Fence. That's a fence. Good girl. Bellamy's happy. Michelle's like, I can't see. I think something's happening. Oh, you got kicked. So they're going to meet each other, and you can see that Bellamy got extraordinarily excited, which she always does. She's very happy. This is Michelle trying to run into her. And remember, Michelle has trouble seeing, so she's kind of relying on smelling the new baby. And she's going to walk. Oh, hi. Hey, Falco. There's a friend. Falco's excited as well. So it's very exciting when we get a new baby. And some of the adults, let's see what they do. See? Diane's sniffing her. We can come in. Yeah, Diane's over by the hay feeder, checking her out. Hi, Stella. Hey, Stella. So this, again, is our special needs herd. So in this herd, we have two special needs herds right now. And this herd has mostly elderly cows. And then the few younger ones are Falco, Bellamy, Michelle. They all have other problems. So they're not going to go. They don't live with the other calves because the other calves are actually rough, although they get around really well. So she's over here with Diane now. which is good because Diane loves a baby and loves to play with a baby. And Michelle is, Pat was trying to see you, and Michelle is trying to see her. What do you think? Oh yeah, see, she's very interested in the mom, and mom is not very interested in her. Diane's like, you need to go away. You need to go. So see, they're all establishing who's in charge. And Diane likes to point out that she's in charge, so she already dealt with that, and it's over. But it was very quick. As you can see, doesn't last a long time. Hi, Michelle. So you can see everybody in here. So again, most everyone in here has some kind of really severe arthritis. Moo is one of them. He has the worst arthritis. Here she comes again, and Sam, is there a question?
Yes, Karen would like to know if Daisy would be too rambunctious for the elderly ladies in here.
No. The elderly ladies in here have complete control over the babies. They have no problem with the babies. If you watch, like Bellamy just saw her, and she's just like, whatever. Not Bellamy, sorry, Belinda. Belinda just saw her and didn't care. If you watched, Diane just knocked her over a little bit just to put her in her place. So you're talking about animals that weigh like 20, probably 2,000 pounds, 1,800 pounds. So a little calf that weighs a couple hundred pounds is really no match for them. If they get annoyed with her, they'll just let her know.
Peggy is asking if this is Pippi that we introduced.
No. Pippi is the one with the heart disease, and Pippi is way too small. This is Daisy. Daisy came months ago. She is from a dairy. She had a traumatic hernia, so she would have been put down because it's not, the surgery is expensive. So they would have put her down. So we ended up taking her and getting the surgery done. She also has some vision problems that we didn't know going in that she was going to have. But like the reason we figured it out was she kept running into everything. We didn't think she was really that uncoordinated. So when she was at Cornell, they have one of the top eye people on the planet for cows. So they checked her eyes out and realized that she did have problems with her vision. She can see, but she doesn't see well. So she's now checking out everything, and this is normal. So we're going to walk with her and see what she wants to do. Yes?
Tracy's asking if Diane is pregnant.
No, Diane's just fat, but I won't tell her you asked that question. Just please don't ever say that question out loud. Diane, so most of the cows that are in here were former dairy girls, so they had baby after baby after baby. One of the reasons that dairy cows, once they're no longer in production, tend to get fat because when they're in production, they lose tons and tons of weight because they're being milked. So it's like a nursing mother who's, producing 60 to 100 pounds of milk every day will get really, really thin. So when they're not doing that, they have a tendency to get fat. And the only thing that Diane eats is grass and hay. No grain, no nothing. And she still keeps that beautiful figure.
We have another question, if arthritis is common in cows and if that's related to their size.
Yeah, it is related to their size, but it's also, we have a lot of the girls that come out of production especially have been raised on concrete. So when they come in, they already have a great deal of arthritis. And then we try to keep the weight down on them as much as we can, but we also do pain management for them. A lot of cows do come in already arthritic when they're about 4 years old. And again, it's just being raised on a place where they're not on like soft dirt, they're not out on pasture. So animals that are on pasture, they actually start to do better, a lot of the cows that come in. But as they get older, that's one of the things we deal with, is arthritis. It's just something with the elderly girls. So remember, the girls in here are all older girls. Stella, very old. Look at her beautiful white hair. She and I have the exact same color roots all the time. All the time. And then Belinda is a really old cow as well. You can really tell the older ones because of the way they chew their food. They have to get dentals all the time because they have really bad teeth. So as they age, their teeth start to break down, and obviously ruminants eat a lot of fiber, so they have to constantly chew their food and chew their cud. So you can see with Belinda, she has a tendency to drop food because she has really bad teeth, and she has had dentals. And thankfully, we're near Cornell, so we can get dentals on our older cows.
Should we go see what Daisy's
Let's go see what Daisy's up to. Let us walk. I think she's with Merlin, who's also arthritic. Wave to everyone. Look, Jill's visiting. And Daniel's here. And Tara's here. We're all here. Hi, Trisha. So if you want to look at these three while we're here, because no one gets to see them that much. So this is Trisha, and Trisha was actually born blind. And her best friend is also blind and was born blind. And it was really interesting because Trisha had multiple partners, and she's outlived all of them. And so when Roz came in, she's blind, and they immediately went to each other, which was really interesting because obviously, we didn't tell them that she was coming in and she was blind, but she immediately went to her. So they are best friends. And then the boy with the horns in the back is Isaac, and he was from a starvation case in Florida. Doesn't look like he's starving anymore. And his girlfriend is a goat. I don't know if you saw them when we first started, but usually his girlfriend's with him, Maxie. But he's more of a fan of the goats than the cows. So anyway, let's keep going. Here comes old man Merlin, taking his time. It's noisy. That's how we figured out she was blind. She ran into everything. What do you think of your new barn? Come on. Oh, it's pretty nice. It's very nice in here. I like it. Hi, everybody. She just did a good run in fall. So she is checking out her whole barn. So this is where she'll live, and this is where the first special needs herd lives. See, she's eating hay already. Getting used to her new surroundings. What do you think? She's got neighbors who are really hairy, big hairy neighbors. That's the dream. You could go up and see them. So she's next door to the Scottish Highlands. She'll also be next door to Howard and Sven and that whole group of calves. Hello, sweet girl.
So what is the life expectancy of a cow in a natural setting and then compared to the industry?
Okay, well, right now in the industry, the smaller dairies keep cows, the dairy cows, like around 6 to 8 years. And in the bigger industrial farms, they're keeping them around 4 years because the legs start to break down and they become more of an expense. If you have a cow that gives birth to twins all the time or is constantly having mastitis issues, they're more inclined to be sent out earlier. So the life expectancy for someone like Daisy will probably be in her 20s. It depends. So everything depends on disease issues. A lot of them come in. She did not. I don't think. She doesn't have bovine. Yeah, so a lot of the cows that we get have a condition called bovine leukemia virus. So later on in life, they get leukemia. So that can shorten the life expectancy. Legs, again, are a big issue. So we have to have their hooves trimmed twice a year because leg and foot care is really, really important to keep them healthy because they do get so big. And keeping her at a decent weight, which is one of the hardest things here. Because even without brain, I mean, someone was commenting on Diane's beautiful physique. It looks pregnant, which she's not. But they do tend to get really, really big, especially after they've been taken out of production. So that's one of the things we have to watch as well. So in the 20s is like the average, especially for the females. The males are our biggest issue. A lot of the males get so incredibly large, like they get over 6 feet tall. Some of them weigh close to 3,000 pounds. And they're not looking like it's just necessarily fat. Their build is so big that they are really prone to getting arthritis or spinal issues or any of those things. So the male Holsteins especially have a much shorter lifespan. I think the oldest one was 19. Most of the ones that we have, I mean, they start to have problems sometimes around 10, some of them even younger. So they have a lot of issues where we have to do pain management. So pain management is a really big deal on the farm for the Giants. Oh, you want to see me? I keep backing. Hello. I kept backing up with the camera because I thought he wanted to hear me. So anyway, Daisy's going to be living in here. And again, we use straw as bedding. She has her little water unit. She's already checking everything out. And that's what she's going to do right now is just check out her surroundings, which is what we want. And she just met some of the cows that she'll be living with. And they will form a bond. She just needs a little bit of time because you saw that she tried to meet a couple people and they didn't like her, which is okay. that happens.
Who are you thinking some of her best friends might be?
I think her best friends are going to be the three amigos. They're going to be Michelle, who they're all looking at each other now, which is really cute. Michelle, Bellamy, and Falco are best friends, and she's younger than them and smaller than them, but it usually takes a couple days. So like when we put Finn in with the cows on the other side that we just did a few weeks ago, Finn automatically went to an adult. So he was nervous around the other calves, but within like a week, he became best friends with the calves. So they just need a little bit of time because sometimes the calves are rowdier. That's her mooing right now too. She doesn't know where she's at. So I'm gonna go over and see what she's doing. Tara's already watching her. What are you doing? Why don't you come outside? Come here. Come on. Come on. What are you doing? Hi. You don't know where you are. She likes the Scottish people. Which, I mean, you can't blame her. So you can come in and see the Scottish Highlands. So the Scottish Highlands are absolutely stunning. Hello. And you can also see the difference in the builds of different types of cows at the farm. So this is actually Gidget, and Gidget was bred, is a breed used for beef production. So they tend to get they're much shorter, and they get really, really wide and muscled and a little bit fatter than everybody else. And then you can see in the back the two Scottish Highlands. They both, this one especially, Baby, has really bad arthritis. And Sweet Pea, look at her using her horn to scratch. Pretty amazing. That's Sweet Pea, but you can see they're totally different, and they too are used in beef production. And they have these really thick, amazing coats. They're absolutely gorgeous. I'm really nervous about summer, though, for them, because I don't know how hot they're going to get. Hello. Hi, baby. And you can see on the tips of their horns, they always get fur because they use their horns to scratch. They're like tools of the trade. And Sweet Pea's just sitting there eating hay because that's the thing to do on a day like today. It's really warm here, too, by the way. It's almost like spring. I know we're going to be getting another snowstorm, though, so it comes and goes. But it definitely is a really nice spring day. So nobody's in the barn except for the three who just want to eat hay. Everybody else is outside.
Can you talk a little bit more about some of the dairy girls and why it's so exciting when you calves come into the barn, why they're so happy to see them?
Yeah, well, some of them are and some of them aren't, but the ones that are really excited about the cows, and what will happen is Diane right now is a little standoffish, but she'll really get attached because she likes to play with them a lot too. But a lot of them don't get to keep their babies, so it's really nice for them to have a baby that they can have all those maternal feelings for, like they start to clean them. One of the things, if they don't do it right away, I think they really are standoffish right away, but then after a couple days, she'll probably have a lot of best friend moms who keep her very clean. They never get to keep their babies. So this is a chance for them to have some time with a really young cow. She is not as young as some of the ones we put in. You can go up there because you'll see her. She's being really funny. But yeah, it's a really good opportunity for the girls who have never gotten to keep a baby to have a bunch of babies around them. And it kind of makes them feel younger, I think. They're more playful. They like to clean them. They're really just really, really sweet with them. So it's nice. And while we're here, actually, we can actually do an update since we're right here on the red babies. So if you want, follow me. So they are completely improving as well. See, she has to check everything out. This is her lunch. This is the lunch room. So she's checking out her lunch and going to the bathroom simultaneously, which is a trick that only a cow could enjoy. So let's go back here. Hello. I'm going over here and you're not coming. Everything is a big muddy mess right now because, again, everything just melted over the last day. It's like all over the farm. So watch because there's ice. So there's a lot of ice everywhere, but the ice is melting because it's like 50 degrees. Oh, hello. Hi. I'll just come in. No touchy, no touchy. Hi, we're going to come in and say hi to you without touching you. So these are the 4 from the starvation cage. You'll see that they are gaining weight and getting rid of that horrible, disgusting ringworm. Hello. Hi. You guys look so much better. So you can see how much better they look. Hi. How are you? You look absolutely beautiful. You really, really do. So they're starting to get some muscle, which is nice to see. I've been in California, so I haven't seen them. So I'm actually just as excited as everybody else is to see them. Hello. But they're getting a lot more muscle. We've been slowly brushing, and I was going to put some pictures out of it because we've been slowly taking the poop that's dried off of them. We didn't want to shave them. It was so cold. And the only way to get that dried, caked on poop off is to kind of pull it, and it's really painful. Hey, buddy, can you come over here? Come here, my little boyfriend. You are very good. Can you come over? Yes. Look at your tiny little horns. Come over here. You want to say hi? You don't have to. Let me see. I'll go down low. Hi. 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 Very, very handsome. Very handsome. So this little group, oh my goodness, and her hair's growing back too, which is good. See, it's fun when I first shaved them as well. So where we removed a lot of the poop on this girl, and it was really painful trying to get it off, like by just trying to take it off. The only way to get it off would be to wet it down, and we didn't because it was so cold at the time. But you can see she's starting to get her hair back because her whole belly was completely bald. He's getting his hair back. You look amazing. Yes, you do. You look the best out of everybody. So they're all looking much, much better, and they're actually gaining some weight, which is what I was hoping. And they still have ear tags in because I know people are going to ask us why. We're keeping the ear tags in because if we end up placing them in homes, and we have great homes for cows, so if they get placed, we don't want to have to put tags back in their ears. So everything's up in the air right now until we see how they do health-wise and how they're progressing, and if they would be good as animals that could go into a home. Because right now they're a little too shy, and they'll get better. They'll have some time to get better, because when we try to match, when we're doing placement, especially of the cows, we try to match the home with the person's abilities. So like if somebody's never had cows before, one of our adopters, we train them how to take care of the cow. We make sure that everything is set up properly. But the other thing that we do is we try to give them a cow that is not going to be the hardest animal to possibly take care of. We do not usually place very young newborn Holsteins, for example, because most people can't handle them when they turn about 1 to 2 years old. They can become really, really aggressive with the person that's taking care of them when they were a baby. So we get more calls than not about those coming back. People don't like when they become really aggressive in between. And part of that is because they're trying to establish themselves. And if they don't have a herd, they're establishing themselves with you. So you get the brunt of a 1,000-pound baby who wants to make sure that you know he's in charge. So we usually don't place the calves. We will end up placing them. These are very docile cows. I really want them to get all their weight back on. I want them to feel 100% so we can see their real personalities. Because right now they're super docile. Hi. And we don't know much about what happened. We just know you were very scared. Yeah. So they're doing great, and they do look so much better, but they're still very shy. I know. You have something on your eyeball. You are very, very beautiful. Yeah, it's just nice that they're getting they're getting friendlier. They're going to take some time. And you look great. You don't have any of that ringworm sticking out all over you. And the one that had the worst ringworm around her face, you can see it's gone. So like most of the scabs are gone. She just has a few little patches left. We're doing the treatment for them, and the treatment's like once a week. But you also have to take those giant thick crusts off or the treatment doesn't work. So the treatment's clearly working now, and she looks fantastic. She was the one with the most white on her that had the horrible ringworm all over her face. So they're all improving completely. It's pretty amazing. You guys look really good. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. A little bit more time, a little bit more food. Hi, and you have a little snotty nose. Good to note. Note to self. Boy has snotty nose. So one of the other things we're going to have to worry about again, and now I'm going to, we just had the little boy just blew out a really nice green booger. So that means that he most likely has something going on respiratory-wise. So we'll have to listen to his lungs and make sure his lungs sound clear. And if they don't, we will start him on an antibiotic. I wouldn't be surprised just because of the way the weather is and how thin they are and how little they probably have immunity-wise, because they still look like so scrawny. But we want to make sure that they don't get sick, and they would be more prone to getting sick. You can see how much they love each other. Look, your eye is dirty. It's so nice that they're together because remember they were tied up so they weren't able to touch each other. And now they're like grooming each other all the time and they're really, really happy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
We had a question earlier about these Scottish Highlands. With
Yes.
their heavy coats, could we shave them down during the summer?
I have to actually research that. I've never had a Scottish Highland, I will be honest. So I think it's the same idea as with dogs that they don't shave them because it's an insulation, but I really want to make sure. And if that's something we have to do, obviously we would do it. We brush her a lot because Sweet Pea's favorite thing in the world is to be brushed. And she kind of stalks you and follows you around trying to get brushed. So it's hard not to brush her because those horns. Because when she's stalking you, you'll just turn around and she's right there and the horns are kind of around you. So she's really good at telling you she wants to be brushed. So we do groom them all the time. So if that is something that has to happen, which again, that's just not a breed that we've had here, I would have to research it and do what's best for her. So I'll probably ask folks at Cornell or make some calls to make sure I'm getting the right information. I don't like to look things up online because there'll be like 18 different things that tell you 18 different things. So we're really good about just trying to find out from people who would know the best, right? And that one we just don't have the answer for. You are trying so hard to be the sweetest little girl. Hi, you can come too, sir. Hello. You are the cutest. You look like a little elf. Come here. Can you come over? They really want, come here. They really want to be friendly, but it's hard. It's hard to be friendly when you're scared all the time. Yeah. Hi. Hi. You are very beautiful. You're the tallest one. This is the girl that was crying when we removed everybody else because she was the last one. You were the very last one. You were all the way in the back of the barn. You were indeed. Ooh. You can do it. I knew it. Hi. You guys are great. You are so sweet. It is hard not to fall. Well, you do fall madly in love with all of them. That's the problem. We can't keep all of them, but you fall madly in love with. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I know. Oh my goodness, you are gorgeous. You are really, really beautiful. You are the bravest because you are the tallest. And her chin itches, clearly. Hi. Oh, look, it's sneaky over here. Hi. Can I see you? You're like, no, thank you. Anyway, this is them, and I wanted you to see them. And then we're going to make one more stop on the way out. But I'm not going to touch anybody because I just touched these guys, and I got to wash my hands.
We do have another question.
Yes.
How many cows do you have on the farm?
Right now, we have 78, although 3 of them are at Cornell. One is Peggy. I don't know if you've seen her story. You can look it up on our Facebook page. Peggy is the girl that walks on her knees. We have a Holstein girl who actually came in and had contracted tendons that were never treated. So she had grown up to being a pretty large cow, like probably over 800 pounds, 900 pounds, and was walking on her knees, which does not work. So she had to have multiple surgeries, and she's still in casts, and she's at Cornell. And then we have 2 girls there. The famous Chandani and Natalie are there right now, and we're doing laparoscopic ovarectomies on them. We're starting to spay our girls because we're having some of the giant boys trying to mount them when they go into heat. So by spaying them, we'll keep them from getting hurt by some of the giant males. And this is the first time we used to spay in California, at our Northern California location, because we were surrounded by big farms of beef production cows. And so the males, the bulls would break onto our property. So we had to spay the females because we had no control over the bulls breaking through our fences. We just had a lot of fence repair. But they did not do, in California, no one would do a laparoscopic procedure, which is far less invasive. So now that we are able to do that here in New York, we are doing that to the females. It's making life a lot safer for the girls, and it keeps them with the boys because you have to remember that a lot of our females are mothers, and we don't want to take them away from their sons. But to take them, we'd have to have like 10 different herds at this point. So it keeps them with the herd that they love, and it also keeps them from going into heat.
So Maria's concerned about these four and asking what will happen, where they'll go if we don't keep them.
Oh, don't be concerned. We won't. If you adopt a cow from us, it's like adopting a human baby. We will check up on them. We will make sure they go to a perfect home that is set up for them. The main reason that we do placement is if we didn't do any placement, we couldn't keep taking them in. And just this week, we have calls for, we're trying right now to place 3, 4, 5, at least 5 cows and over 100 sheep and lots of other animals. So it's an endless number of animals. So if we just kept everybody, we would really be unable to do rescue again. So what we try to do is we try to get animals in, vetted and healthy, and then if we can, do a home that will give them the equal amount of care that we give them. And the good news is most of the places that take them have fewer animals, so they have a chance to get more like one-on-one attention. But part of what we do, especially in New York, is larger scale rescue where we get the animals nice and healthy. The other thing is the animals that leave here, the adoption agreement says that no one can be placed without our permission, so they can't leave where they are. They would come back to us if they had to leave the facility. And this year we actually have proved that over and over again because we actually took it back 3 cows, 4 or 5 pigs. So we've taken back some animals that we placed years before. The cows actually were 14 years before, and they could no longer care for them. So we will always keep track, so nothing will ever happen to them. If we just want them to have a fantastic life, just like everyone else. So part of what we do is, if that life is here, so be it, and if it's somewhere else, we'll make sure it's equally amazing.
And how is Pippi doing right now?
Pippi's awesome. We may be able, we're not going to do it today. Next week we'll stop with Pippi because we also want to do an update on the calves that fell off the trailer. So next week we'll do them. The calves that fell off the trailer are huge now. They're really, really big. They will be coming out very soon. So we'll be putting them outside really, really soon. Sorry, because they're strong enough and we're trying to wean them. So it will be much easier for them to come out here and join some of the other cows. They may end up living with these red cows as well because they also came in with ringworm. And the ringworm on them is at pretty much the same stage, only they never had the really horrible ringworm. You are very curious. That's the big girl again, and she's really curious and sweet.
So are there certain animals that we will not adopt out?
Oh goodness, yes. So there's lots of animals that will never leave here. So if right now we would find out that they had a health issue that would become a huge expense to whoever took them in, we would not place them. We would take care of them forever. And that happens. We've done full rescues where they have diseases where they cannot leave the property and go to another home, and that's fine. So when we take on a rescue, we take on the rescue knowing that we may end up keeping every single animal. There's always a chance that we're going to have to keep them here forever, which is fine. So like Pippi is a really good example. Pippi will never be adopted out. Transporting her would not be good, obviously, because transporting her with a heart condition would be risky for her. And because we don't know how long she's going to live, we want to keep her here with us. Peggy, the one with the leg issue, if we had a home that we know would give her actually better than we could give her, we would place her. Because she is going to be harder to put in a herd because of the leg issue. So there's all the animals that we take in, we really look at the individual to make a decision of where they go, who they're adopted by, or who stays here. It's definitely based on the individual. And we do not adopt out, of these 4, we would not just take one of them out and adopt them to someplace. They have to go together. So we don't split up pairs, especially. Obviously we could do 2 and 2, but we would never make one of them leave the other ones behind because it's just very hard on them psychologically as well. So anybody that's here that's up for adoption has a friend that friend goes to. And it's really funny because this cow is sniffing Luke's camera and walkie-talkie. Hello, cute. We're gonna leave. You are the most curious of all the cows. So we're gonna sign out, actually, because I'm not actually gonna go in with the other cows because I did a lot of petting. That means I need to wash my hands because for some reason I also don't get ringworm. But they have ringworm and I don't want to spread it to anybody on the farm. So now I have to avoid everybody like the plague until I wash up and change my shirt. But anyway, these are our amazing girls and boy, sorry, sir, that we rescued a few weeks ago, the starvation case, and they are gaining weight and growing hair and getting cleaned up. And you don't have so much ringworm. I doubt you're even contagious, but why would we risk it? And we'll do updates next week again on the calves that fell out of the trailer. So that's and we'll give you their names because they have names now. It's pretty amazing. Oh, hello. Hello again. She wants to be friends with everyone, so she'll be the most fun. You're going to be so much fun. Yes, you are. Anyway, thank you again for tuning in. Hi, guys. And we will keep you posted on everybody, and then we'll do an update again on the three calves, from the trailer where they fell off the trailers on the way to the veal plant. And we will also give you an update on Pippi because they all live in the same place. So you'll get to see everybody from those 2 rescues and this rescue. We've been doing a lot of rescue. So thanks for joining us. Oh, look at them cleaning.